is good, guys? M.V.K here, back again for another overview slash review of X-Men 97. This is part 2 of Lifedeath. And first and foremost, before I start, I'd like to thank all you guys who gave their condolences to me and my family. My family, we lost my aunt a while ago, and the funeral was this Wednesday here in New York. Before she's gonna be buried back in South Carolina, where she's from. So I appreciate everybody who wished my family condolences and things like that. So I appreciate that very much. Thank you so much, guys. So yeah, didn't put up a lot of content this week. You know, I was just like, you know, give it a week, but I was like, okay, let me at least put up my X-Men thoughts. And Life-Death Part 2. We are down to now, 4 episodes for the season, I believe. 4 episodes left. Life After Death was a good episode. It touched on some things that I appreciate, but also it gave us something very surprising. Let's talk about the opening, for example. The opening, we got Nightcrawler in the opening. It's very cool that they have been doing that. We saw that with Bishop. We saw that with, you know, a couple other people. So Nightcrawler got the name drop and everything. That's really cool, because I believe he is going to be in the finale episode again, so that's fine. But it was Storm dealing with and Forge dealing with the adversary, the big owl demon that was bit Forge, and he was dying. And the adversary was playing with Storm's emotions in this, you know, telling her to leave him, save yourself, all this. And we got to see a little bit of, you know, the claustrophobia again, which they didn't bring up too much in this, but it was interesting they brought it up. You know, seeing Storm, you know, remember Storm is claustrophobic, and things like that. But then we outside of that, then we shoot out into the stars, and we see the Kree, we see Ronin, and we see the Imperial Guard and Ronin fighting. So we see Gladiator, we see Lalandra's sister, Deathbird. And then, of course, we get a cameo in this. The great cameo of Vulcan, the third Summers brother. Again, I'll say this truthfully, writers, everybody of this series, I know you guys say y'all already working on season 3. Y'all better do an episode where these brothers come together and acknowledge each other and realize that they're brothers. They don't even know. Scott doesn't know. Alex is, because last time we saw them, what happened? They were fighting. And their father, Corsair, told him, you got a brother. Like, you have a brother. He didn't say you had 2 brothers. He said you got one. He said little Alex, when he was explaining what happened to him. But outside of that, that was cool. Hearing people say, oh my God, Gladiator was a badass, and see him getting his respect. What respect did he lose? In the original series, he was a badass in that too. There was only one person that really humbled him, and that was the Phoenix. Outside of that, who else humbled him? It wasn't Rogue. Sorry, I love Rogue, but it wasn't. And he threw Juggernaut across Scotland. Just saying. So yeah, it was cool. That cameo was cool. But what was even cooler is everything we all knew was going to happen. Professor Xavier was shown walking in an exoskeleton, walking and about to get married to Lilandra. And this is the part of the episode that really interests me more than just Storm's struggle, is just seeing how how much of a bigot the Shi'ar are. The Shi'ar Empire are a group of bigots. Because the way Deathbird was talking to Xavier in this it made you feel, if you are a person of color, a person of any ethnicity outside of white, and someone called you by a racist slur, whatever color, whether you're Spanish, Asian, Native American, or black, you understood everything Xavier was going through. But I applaud Professor Xavier because he stood his ground with Deathbird. He never went to her level, but he stood his ground. But just as she was calling Earth a backwards ghetto, I was like, what? She called the solar system a backwards ghetto. She called Xavier. The Shi'ar Empire they even said he's not even full Terran. He's an abomination of Terran, a mutant. I'm like, what the hell? This is nothing I'm not familiar with, because again, like Professor Xavier said, you guys are just as bad as anything. I love when he put the Shi'ar in check with his great mind. He took them to school. And he basically was like, look, you guys conquer any race, any other empire that is almost on your level, just to feel better about yourself, just to make yourself. You guys are so impudent as a race. It's ridiculous. He basically went on to say, you guys take qualities of all the different races and plant species that you have conquered, and incorporate it into your own government and then things. And Xavier was just speaking knowledge. They wanted this man to forget. The only way they were going to allow Professor Xavier to marry Lilandra, mind you, she's the Empress, is if he forgets everything about his past life. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, Chuck, you really gonna go with that? I know them sugar walls are good, but they ain't that good to just give up your entire life for. I had to call that. I'm like, them sugar walls, them bird sugar walls can't be that good. I'm sorry. It was like, nah, come on. And then we get Storm dealing with the adversary, and she gets her powers back. And not only does she get her powers back, she manifests her 70s look. She goes back to the look that started it all from 1975, Giant Size X-Men. She goes back to that look. So it's funny, and I've been telling everybody, she went backwards with her look. She started with her 90s look, with the silver and everything like that. Then we saw her 80s look, the mohawk and the leather jacket and all that. And then now she's back to her 70s look. How cool is that? I think it's cool. I know some people are flipping out and everything like that. Grow up. But it was a very good episode, and we could see that this relationship, I know it was a little fast, the whole Storm and Forge relationship, but it seems it's still going to go strong. It was quick, I will say that. But what I love is the ending of what Xavier, when he's in the astral plane with all the Imperial Guard and all the people, and he literally senses, he sees Gambit. He senses and he sees Gambit, and then he sees the skull of Gambit, basically representing death. That right there also gave me a hint, and I'm going to talk about that after this. And he knew something bad happened. He's far across the galaxy. Just shows you how strong his mind is. And he felt that. So now, and he looked at Elandra, and you know what he's about to say. You know he's about to say, look, I got to go back. I can't. Those are not only those his students, they are surrogatically his kids. He can't abandon his children right now. I'm sorry, Lance. Like I said, them sugar walls ain't that good to have just abandoned. I'm sorry. So yes, I'm glad. And even the new actor who's voicing Professor sounds good. I know because I believe the original actor passed away. I believe he did. So he sounds pretty good. And to see Xavier walking around with that exoskeleton that makes him walk, it's fine. For anybody who thought Xavier was dead, again, I would tell people, I've seen people online saying, well, Xavier's dead. I'm like, no, he's not dead. He didn't die. He didn't die at the end of the original series. He left. If he had stayed on Earth, he would have died. Only the Shi'ar had the technology to save him. That's where he's been all this time. So how's it going to feel when he comes back and he sees his best friend dead? One of his students dead. It's going to be terrible. He's going to feel like a heel. Now, with that being said, I have some very interesting hints. Not only on the reason of why Professor, when he saw Gambit, he was in a skeleton and he representing death. This is my theory. I have a theory, my guys. I have a theory. People saying, will Gambit come back? Yep. I have an absolute theory he will. But he ain't coming back as Gambit from first. He's coming back as a horseman of apocalypse. Now, in the comics, Gambit was the horseman of death. So we may see him back. But it was even interesting more because we saw Bolivar Trask at the end running and saying, I did everything you wanted me to do. And then who does he run into? Nathaniel Essex, Mr. Sinister. All in all, a good episode. What was it as powerful as from that last episode? No. But it was good to see because it gave us, we all knew Storm was going to get her powers back. We all knew that. Was it quick? Yes. You got to stop taking the whole concept of, well, they went too fast with this story. Of course they were. They're adapting. They're not going panel for panel for panel. Appreciate what they did. And I appreciated that they took another classic Claremont story and tried to adapt it. Was it perfect? No. But they adapted it to the best of their ability. Now the question is, what's to come next? Sinister is working with somebody. Who? We'll find out. I have a strong feeling Apocalypse is there. But I also still keep the feeling that we're going to see Bastion. Maybe not Cassandra Nova. They may switch her out for somebody else. But Bastion's there because we've seen a picture of him. He's there. He's there. But I didn't like this. Now we have the episodes. The next episode is going to be called Bright Eyes, and then we're getting a 3-part finale. Existence is tolerance. Is tolerance. So yeah. And if you've seen the trailers, we're getting a backstory again, or Cap is here because we've seen the shield was there. So it's going to be interesting. But I did enjoy it. It was beautiful to see Storm, how she manifested her powers back, and she's flying around, and you know she's back in the way she ionized herself to make her classic look was cool. I didn't mind it. and seeing Xavier just show how strong he put even Gladiator in, basically showcase like my mind is stronger than yours. I loved it because they started fighting, and then Xavier's like, nah, that's not my style. Let me show you. Let me do this to you. Boom. Welcome to my world, bitches. You on the astral plane where my mind is stronger than y'all's. And I love that. I love that indeed. So, yeah. If I was giving it a rating, yeah, another 8 out of 10. Very good episode. But I can't wait to see the what's coming next. I have my feelings. I do feel that Gambit will return, but he will return as a horseman. They may do Gambit as a horseman of Apocalypse, and he will be deaf. But again, he'll return back to himself because Apocalypse don't learn. He always takes the heroes and turns them into their horsemen, and they come back to the light. He fails. He needs to stick with the villains. And we still don't know how many people are dead in terms of the Genoshan massacre. But I believe Banshee's there, and Banshee was a horseman of Apocalypse too. But not of Apocalypse. Think of his kids, the Apocalypse twins. So, but at the end of the day, it was a good episode. It was great to see. It's great to see Storm back. And she saw what happened to Genosha, and she was mortified. So everybody's getting caught up on what happened on Genosha. And yeah, it's going to get nitty. It's going to get gritty. But outside of that, guys, you guys take care. Deuces. And thank you once again, guys. I very much appreciate it.